It's not every day that a rising Hollywood star walks away from fame, but that's exactly what Dolores Hart did. She had acted alongside big names like Elvis Presley and Montgomery Clift during her short but impressive career, but Dolores is remembered most not for the roles she played, but for the role she chose. In 1963, at the height of her success, she gave it all up to become a nun. Dolores Hart was born Dolores Hicks on October 20th, 1938, in Chicago. Her father, Bert Hicks, was an actor and moved his family out to Hollywood. But her childhood wasn't the glamorous kind. Her parents divorced when she was young, and that split left her feeling adrift. To escape the tension at home, she went to live with her grandparents back in Chicago. Her grandfather happened to work as a projectionist at a neighborhood movie theater, and that's where Dolores fell in love with the movies. That's where her dream began, not just to watch the movies, but to star in them. She attended St. Gregory's, a nearby parochial school. Her upbringing wasn't very religious, but she was confirmed in the Catholic Church at 10 years old. Years later, she laughed about it, admitting that it wasn't divine inspiration that led her to church. In her own words, she said, "They hooked me with chocolate milk and donuts." After finishing school, Dolores returned to Los Angeles and attended Marymount College, where she starred in a stage production of St. Joan. Her performance caught the attention of a friend who had connections at Paramount Pictures. Before she knew it, she was on her way to a screen test, and just like that, she was under contract. Her first film was a big one, Loving You in 1957, starring none other than Elvis Presley. Dolores played his love interest, and the chemistry between them was undeniable. The movie was a hit, and suddenly, the young woman who once watched movies from a theater projection booth was now a Hollywood star. That breakout role opened every door imaginable. Within a few short years, she was acting alongside Anthony Quinn in Wild as the Wind, and with Montgomery Clift in Lonely Hearts. In 1958, she reunited with Elvis for King Creole, one of his best-loved films. By now, Dolores Hart was a star on the rise, beautiful, talented, confident, and in demand. Everything she had dreamed about as a child was finally coming true, but fame, as she would later admit, can sometimes feel empty. While filming the western The Plunderers in 1959, Dolores started to feel restless, unsure of whether acting was truly fulfilling her. Around that time, a friend suggested she take a short retreat to Bethlehem, Connecticut, to visit the Benedictine Abbey of Regina Laudes. It wasn't meant to be life-changing, just a break from the noise and pressure of the film world. But something about the Abbey touched her deeply. The quiet, the prayer, the peace. It was like discovering a missing piece of herself. She left refreshed, but also changed. Over the next couple of years, she returned several times. Each visit seemed to pull her a little closer to something she couldn't quite explain. In the early 1960s, Dolores continued to work steadily. She starred in the hit comedy Where the Boys Are, a bold film for its time that explored college life and romance during spring break. Then came Frances of Assisi in 1961, where she played a noblewoman who gives up her wealth to follow the saint. At the time, no one knew just how prophetic that role would turn out to be. After that, she filmed The Inspector, a serious drama about a Holocaust survivor, followed by the lighthearted comedy Come Fly With Me. But despite the success, she couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. Dolores, at this time, was engaged to a Los Angeles businessman named Don Robinson. And though he loved her deeply, she began to question everything: her career, her faith, and even her future. Whenever she felt uncertain, she returned to the Abbey. One snowy night, she took a long walk up a hill where a wooden cross stood. Standing there in the cold silence, she realized she needed to embrace a life of faith, fully. So she broke off her engagement and returned to the Abbey of Regina Laudes, this time not as a visitor, but as a woman ready to dedicate her life to God.
I think at that point I was just 23 years old. Everything that I had wanted had come to a climax. And I felt now was the time for me to give back to God.
She took her final vows in 1970 and became Sister Dolores Hart. Her new life was one of prayer, simplicity, and service. She worked the Abbey's land, tended to its farm animals, and helped keep the property running. But she also brought her talents with her, founding a small theater program at the Abbey that blended faith and art, often with support from her old Hollywood friends like Paul Newman and Patricia Neal. In 1999, Sister Dolores faced one of her biggest challenges when she was diagnosed with peripheral idiopathic neuropathy, a painful neurological condition that left her in a wheelchair for months. But even then, she never lost her sense of peace or purpose. In 2001, she became second in command of the Abbey, and she used her position as a head nun and as a former actress to advocate for those suffering from the same illness, even testifying before Congress about it. Then in 2012, Sister Dolores walked the red carpet at the Academy Awards. She was there for the Oscar-nominated documentary, God is the Bigger Elvis, a touching short film about her remarkable life. It was her first Hollywood appearance in 50 years, and it brought her story full circle. That same year, she also released her memoir, The Ear of the Heart, an actress's journey from Hollywood to holy vows, where she reflected on everything she learned about faith, fame, and fulfillment. Even now, she still welcomes visitors and old friends to the Abbey, offering advice and wisdom to those seeking peace. In one interview, she recalled talking to a retired actress about the afterlife, a conversation that, for her, wasn't abstract or distant, but something she genuinely looked forward to. From a 10-year-old girl lured to the church by donuts, to a Hollywood star kissed by Elvis, to a Benedictine nun finding God in the stillness of a Connecticut winter, Dolores Hart's story is unlike any other, and it continues, as she is now 87 years old. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and please consider subscribing and sharing Recollection Road Entertainment with someone you know. As always, thank you so much for watching.